They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
The WNBA tripped over their own shoelaces just as you thought they were finally getting their act together and prepared to ride the Caitlin Clark rocket ship to sports relevance and serious money. Yes, the league's one-woman ratings machine, Caitlin Clark, just ended up on the injury list.
Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday.
Talk shows are going crazy. Basketball fans are going into meltdown mode, and Stephen A. is virtually floating from his wrath at the WNBA bullies, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, and especially Angel Reese, who still believes that people watch for her. If you agree with Stephen, let's go. Baby goat over baby giraffe, remark below.
Clark was the WNBA's Rookie of the Year last season and a first-team All-WNBA selection. So far, she's averaging 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists through 4 games this season. I could give a damn about that last part. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special. What I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today that I want to show you right now. Put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, right? Stephen A. Smith, can the WNBA keep itself afloat while CC, as in Caitlin Clark, is out?
The woman who made women's basketball a must-watch instead of just something your extremely competitive cousin watched was Caitlin Clark. TV has been sidelined for at least 2 weeks due to a quad strain, and during those 2 extended Clarkless weeks, the WNBA will try its hardest to pretend that everything is fine. But the product itself will fall apart faster than Angel Reese's layup picture. This is the league's top streetwear brand, and TV ratings are dropping like a rock in a kiddie pool.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson, be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post. Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
And unsurprisingly, Stephen Smith, ESPN's resident hype machine, was the first to blow a gasket about it. He went beyond a simple remark to go to DEFCON 1, while other league voices gave us their most courteous shrug. While everyone else is out there saying sweet nothings and acting as though Caitlin isn't the reason their direct deposit hit on time, Stephen A. walked in like a human Molotov, burning down every poor choice and stupid take that brought us to this point. Let's face it, someone had to do it.
Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
While WNBA execs were out to lunch attempting to pretend that Caitlin Clark isn't the one who keeps the lights on, this man didn't just speak up. He held court like a man who had been waiting months to dunk on the league's incompetence. It was like watching math class with fireworks as Stephen A., who was busily pounding down receipts, asked, "Oh, do you think the league can survive without Caitlin Clark?" In essence, he was saying, "Cool story, bro. Check the numbers and try not to cry."
Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
Shall we analyze those figures, Caitlin? Players like Angel Reese are still wondering why Clark gets more camera time. Perhaps it's because Caitlin doesn't treat the ball like a bowling pin and actually makes people want to watch. This year, Clark Games is drawing an average of 1.178 million viewers, but when she's out, it's only 394,000. That's a threefold drop in viewership.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
The reason Stephen A. woke up furious was because he had spent months watching the WNBA blow every chance he had seen Cheryl Swoops throw more shade than a beach umbrella, as if Clark wasn't bringing the entire league into the spotlight. Naturally, Ree couldn't help but use every moment as her own tryout for the role of America's next jealous teammate.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
Thanks for the ratings. I guess it's like finding a genie in a bottle and wishing for a slightly larger bottle, is how Commissioner Kathy Angelberg sums up her entire approach to Clark. Stephen A. is essentially shouting, "I told you so," from the rooftops now that Clark is out, and he has truly earned it.
I notice when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
If this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA and her absence proves it, then everyone needs to stand down and ride the wave, he added, adding some timeless wisdom. Translation: give up battling it. Caitlin is the show. Either embrace it or be left behind, sitting in arenas that are only partially occupied, with bewildered fans asking where the excitement went.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is the Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the...
Let's go back in time, because the lead up to this train disaster has been a prime example of league mismanagement. Caitlin Clark's first game this season against the Sky drew a record-breaking 2.7 million viewers, making it the highest-rated WNBA game on ESPN ever. The NBA even raised an eyebrow because it wasn't a fluke. She was a generational star who brought with her more jersey sales and viewers than half the league combined. What did the WNBA do? They launched a full-scale marketing campaign and sent out press releases that were so generic they could have been written by Angel Reese herself. It seemed as though the league was reluctant to acknowledge her that a single player was contributing more to the brand than 10 years of teamwork.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
The WNBA is now in panic mode, rushing to fill the void left by the only player who can draw in an additional million viewers by simply tying her shoes. Stephen A. was watching it all build up as Caitlyn's star was soaring through the league, and the veterans were quietly downplaying her and side-eyeing her like she had taken the last piece of pizza. But instead of downplaying it, they tried to minimize the fact that Caitlin Clark was the WNBA's lottery ticket. Now that the ticket is temporarily out of circulation, they're finally realizing her worth. Meanwhile, Stephen A. is sitting back and saying, "I've been telling y'all you can't build a castle," and then act surprised when the queen moves in.
Know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
And A is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky because both of those teams moved those games to big arenas. So it's like now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know because majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlin Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlin Clark. They don't really care about the entire.
The prophecy is coming to pass right before our eyes. There is nothing that Clark is missing. ESPN salivates over her much-awaited rematch with Angel Reese, which has been featured on numerous primetime national broadcasts, but the financial impact is immediate and severe. She is playing on Tuesday night against a team that no one remembers. Not only is Indiana losing a star player, but the WNBA is losing all of its appeal. Clark isn't just scoring points. She's the primary reason fans turn on their televisions, buy those expensive jerseys, and attend games. When she's removed from the equation, the Indiana Fever start to resemble every other team that is frantically trying to remain relevant.
Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep. The tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any.
However, what is really driving Stephen crazy is that this was totally preventable. Sure, accidents happen in sports, but when a league allows its best player to be pounded, hacked, elbowed, and nearly assaulted every night with no repercussions, that is negligence, not an accident. The WNBA's response to Clark's hits this season would not be out of place on an NFL highlight tape, but they dismiss it as a part of the game, while Stephen is likely breaking a remote control at home and yelling, "Protect her." And who could blame him? It's not only upsetting, it's malpractice to watch the one player who keeps the league afloat be treated like a mere novice rather than the generational star she is.
2.2 million average viewers tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever take on the Liberty.
Peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever.
Became the 6th most watched WNBA regular season or playoff.
And here's the thing, the numbers support it. Even in a recent loss to the Liberty, Clark was able to draw 2.22 million viewers on CBS, which is the second highest WNBA rating ever on the network. That kind of pull during a regular season game is unheard of, but without her, those numbers will plummet. The marketing executives are trying to pitch ad space, but the networks are watching, our stars are sidelined, and everyone knows what's coming. Stephen A., who has already loaded up the receipts for the inevitable ratings collapse, will remind the WNBA at every turn.
She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being fourth in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
But what hurts even more is that things didn't have to be this way if the league had simply accepted what was obvious from the beginning, that Clark is the driving force behind this entire operation. Instead, they minimized her success and pretended that it was a coincidence or worse, something to be ashamed of, while Clark sold out arenas, increased attendance, and completely altered the way that people thought about women's basketball. Now that she's gone, everyone who laughed at her influence is going to realize how foolish they were.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it.
Not only was Clark beneficial to the league, but she was also revolutionizing it. People who had never taken notice of the WNBA were suddenly tuning in, and entire families were planning summer vacations around her games. However, now that she is sidelined, those same fans are already checking out. Stephen understands that the real question here is not whether the league is smart enough to recognize and nurture a once-in-a-generation star before it's too late. But the WNBA leadership won't acknowledge that Clark is the link between the league's troubled past and its future. Without her, they will have to return to pleading with networks for airtime and hoping that someone will attend the games. Clark is more than just a player. She is a walking advertisement, a highlight reel, a franchise in sneakers, and now that she is gone, the link she created between women's basketball and the general public is being temporarily closed for repairs. That is a complete crisis, not simply a setback.
You literally cannot make this up. When she's not playing, ticket prices, merchandise sales plummet. Viewership declines when she is not suited up in uniform. The numbers do not lie, guys. Caitlin Clark is the biggest box office attraction in the WNBA, period. Facts over feelings.
And let's face it, given how she has been targeted, this whole situation could have been avoided. Cheap pictures given the egregious fouls and borderline assaults, you would think the league would have intervened to safeguard its most valuable asset. But instead, they allowed her to endure pounding after beating while hiding behind evasive accusations and ineffective fines. Now, with a bullhorn in hand, Stephen A. is here yelling, "I told you so." Clark's fan base is incensed, and many have already promised to boycott games until she returns, while the league tries to contain the damage. Fans are posting on social media that they won't be watching another game. If you started watching because of Caitlin Clark, why would you continue to do so when she isn't playing? Second of WNBA basketball till Clark returns to the court, and who can blame them? It would be like ordering pizza and receiving a salad while you were at a WNBA game sans Clark. The feature that made it unique is no longer present, and neither is the excitement or the flavor.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the fourth different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is the Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana?
The only person who has the courage to say what everyone else is thinking is Stephen A. Smith. He is waiting for the next round of ratings to come in, and when they do, he will be prepared with the numbers, commentary, and sass to remind the league that they are to blame for this mess. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle because when you ignore your biggest star and let her take hits like a crash test dummy and act like everything is fine, the fallout is on you. Since Caitlin Clark is no longer with us, the storm that is coming in the next weeks won't merely prove Stephen A. correct. If you agree with Stephen, they will determine whether the WNBA wants to be a league that supports and encourages its players or one that sees them leave while they still have a chance to preserve the game. Click the video on the screen, leave a comment underneath that says baby goat over baby giraffe, hit subscribe, and enable all notifications so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next.